Guys, the reason why the Makiwara is such an amazing tool is because it's so brutally unforgiving. It's really an advanced tool. You got to be careful with this thing. It's really easy to injure your hand. That having been said, you should probably even wear some light gloves like I do when I'm hitting the Mukjong instead of just these wraps, or at least tape your hands, because like I said, there's wood underneath here and it's definitely very dangerous. The good part of it is it embodies these classical, beautiful, internal martial arts principles, breathing, using the body as one unit. These kind of, the first principle of Shaolin Kung Fu in general, which is to avoid conflict, that this is a peaceful art. That having been said, a peaceful, deadly art. You guys can't see it because it's kind of tightly bound to this tree here, but I have a dot on this Makiwara, and it's the best thing I ever did, is take a paint pen and literally paint a dot right in the middle. That way, I'm saving my hand. I'm literally targeting something, so I'm not just creating a target in my mind. There's literally one there that I can strike. And of course, for those classical, traditional martial arts strikes, the gouges, the chops, the back fists, and so forth, this is an invaluable, sublime conditioning and focusing tool. And also in terms of, I think Lyoto Machida used it before one of his, actually before his knockout of Ryan Bader. And it was a very short, kind of like a very abrupt, short punch, one you couldn't even train unless you were using a tool like this that didn't swing around. So I really believe in this. Also the type of bag that Mike Tyson used, that didn't move around at all. That was literally just attached to the wall. And I think there's something to be said for that stationary tool, and then incorporating your own movement, and then of course using moving targets as well with your training. So here I'm creating a bridge before I strike, namely creating a stiff arm, a long arm, and then working on these strikes nice and gentle, working on using the whole body. I'm not just trying to chimp it with the shoulder muscles. I'm trying to use the glutes, the hamstrings, the legs, the quadriceps, the core, the feet, everything. Mosquito, sorry. Be really careful with this thing. Like I said, excruciatingly painful. A sandbag is probably safer and better for knuckle conditioning if you're into that. I always say it's much better, and my teacher would say this decades ago, and now I understand what he meant for shin conditioning as well as knuckle conditioning. Hitting a heavy bag for 3 hours a day is going to beat spending 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 40 minutes a day. I don't know, actually, that would be an interesting experiment. 40 committed minutes a day conditioning your knuckles. I mean, it's not like you can do technique during those 40 minutes. Whereas if you're hitting a bag, you can actually work technique, work some slips, work some angles, work some rhythm, while you're also conditioning your fists, which is why in boxing, when you really learn to hit hard, your knuckles are going to be injured, and it's going to take a few years to actually build up the strength, because they're not meant to be used as a weapon. So just some thoughts on the Makiwara here. Definitely an advanced tool. Definitely not for beginner students, but like I said, the good part of it, it embodies breathing, the traditional principles of martial arts that we kind of forget sometimes when we're just wailing away at the heavy bag. And like the heavy bag, you don't have to kill it. You can use it as a tool without putting 100% effort into it, and kind of like, get your technique right so that then the power is lined up on something which is softer and more forgiving. And I can honestly say, in the street or in the ring, nothing is as hard. I haven't hit anyone's chin or anyone's body that's been nearly as hard as this thing. So I don't feel bad that I'm not wailing away at it, that I'm just using it intelligently, because that's the whole, that's the whole psychology behind what we're doing here, intelligent progression. Yeah, there's a reason why I only bring that out once a month. Ouch. Very painful. Excellent conditioning tool, though. excellent for focus too, because unlike a heavy bag, you can't just wail away. You have to get within the target, otherwise you can really trains you to focus a little bit, slow down, work on technique a little bit more. Great tool, clapper.